All right, we'll go ahead and get started if everyone's ready. If someone doesn't mind, could you close that back door for me? Will you go close that? There you go. All right, I want to welcome everyone to the first Transportation Committee meeting of this session. I'm happy to be following in the footsteps of a couple of great former chairmen. One we still have with us, Chairman Coomer. That's what I thought. He made a motion on that. So
they're just okay.
Thank you. Thank you for the leadership. We're looking forward to filling in this role and doing a good job. And I've got a great committee, and I'm thankful for the Speaker and Committee on Assignments for assigning some good members. We have quite a few new members, freshmen on this committee. Hopefully we'll be busy. I think we have a total of 28 members. Before we get started, I would like to maybe call on Brett Harrell, if he would, to lead us in an invocation. Let's see, Brett, mash your button for me. Let's see. Acknowledge. Hold on. How'd I drop that? Oh, okay, right there. Just give me a second. We're gonna
Y'all join me in prayer this afternoon. Lord, we come to you with thankful and gracious hearts for breath of life, for the ability to serve the citizens of this great state, for the friendships we've made in our home districts as well as those here at the Capitol. We ask that you guide us and lead us, give us discernment and wisdom as we consider the issues before this committee, that we'll make decisions that are pleasing to you and in the best interest of all the citizens of Georgia. And this we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brett. All right, normally we'll be meeting on Thursdays at 2 o'clock in room 506 over in the CLOB. We wanted to meet today. The DOT has a pre-planned road dedication tomorrow afternoon that's important to our state that some of us are going to try to attend, so we changed for today. Today's just an organizational meeting to get things kicked off in the right direction. We just have a few items on the agenda that we'll get to. The first is the adoption of the rules. They should be on the left side of your folder. They're fairly consistent with the rules that the committee's had in the past, so if you would take just a few minutes to consider those rules, and then we'll open it up for a motion. I will tell you that primarily we'll be assigning legislation to subcommittees. The chair does reserve the right to hear legislation in the full committee if we feel like that's the best thing to get started with, but for the most part we'll be assigning bills to subcommittees, and that's outlined in your rules. All right, the chair will open it up for a motion if someone has one. All right. We have a motion and a second to adopt the rules. All those in favor, do we have any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we have 2017-2018 rules for the Transportation Committee adopted. The next thing you should have also in your packets, the rules for the road and facility dedication. That's something that this committee does a lot of each year. I think that there's still a few roads maybe in Georgia that have not been named. It's got to be getting close, but there are a couple of changes in this from years past, and talking with staff, and let me back up before I move forward, especially for our new members. I just want to recognize Abby Day is our House research person assigned to this committee, and those of us who have had the pleasure of working with her in the past know she's a very valuable asset, and in my humble opinion, the best that we have in that area, so we're thankful to have her assigned to the Transportation Committee. She also handles the Subcommittee for Transportation Funding, the MARTOC Committee, and the Public Safety Committee, so she has a lot going on, but she's an available resource to us. And then we have Jenna, that's our counsel, and leg counsel, again, very knowledgeable, and is there to help us when we need it, so I appreciate them. But in talking with both Jenna and Abby about some issues in the past, they had a couple of recommended changes we've incorporated into this. Under the rules and road facility dedication, I do want to mention a couple of things before we ask for a motion. The first is we want to make sure, as we're considering these, that they've not already been dedicated to someone. I know that's happened in the past, years ago, when we've rededicated a road and then find out later that it had already been named. The process that we will follow, like it has been in years past, if you're interested in getting a road dedicated, then you will ask the DOT for a non-conflict letter. And what we're doing is the Legislative Council will not draft the legislation and the ad until they receive a copy of that non-conflict letter. That way they're not wasting their time. If for some reason someone gets a non-conflict letter or a no-conflict letter, or that has a conflict, they can come to me and they can explain the situation, and we'll take those on a case-by-case basis. But that's one thing. And then we also still have in that no former public official, unless they've been out of office for at least 5 years, can have a road dedicated in their name. And so that's there. Now, if an official dies, then of course that doesn't apply. So that's those are the rules. And also, as just in the past, one difference between the House and the Senate, we have a lot more members. So we ask that if any member is going to have a road dedicated, that they bear that cost, or whoever they're doing it for bears the cost of that road naming project. And that's the same as it has been in the past. I'll be glad to answer any questions if anyone has any relating to the rules for road and facility dedication. If not, we will entertain a motion on that, approval on that. Okay, Whip, Coomer, motion to approve. Do we have a second? All right, several seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, good. Those are approved. I will tell you, as we work with Chairman Beach over in the Senate, he's the new Chairman of Transportation in the Senate, we will work the best we can to coordinate our rules. So if we see differences that we may be able to work out, and if we see any changes to that, we'll bring those to you in accordance with our House rules we adopted about how we can have a rule change. But we'll continue to work with him. One of the other things I don't think I mentioned to you, but it's in the rules we just adopted, we are establishing a 30-day window, so it has to be in by day 30. One of the problems in the past is staff is overwhelmed at the very end of session with road dedications. If members want to dedicate a road, they need to get that in a timely manner, and we'll have a cutoff date for our subcommittee to hear those. All right, the next item of business is Transportation Committee subcommittees. You'll have that also in your packet. We've broken that into 5 subcommittees. State highways, they will hear federal and state highways. It'll be highways in general. Chairman Tom McCall is going to be asked to chair that subcommittee. John Corbett, vice chair, and you can see the members there on that subcommittee. Railway and Transit, Brett Harrell and Brian Prince will chair that committee and vice chair that committee. Aviation, Representative John Carson and Dale Rutledge, chairman and vice chairman. Katie Dempsey and Ed Setzler, resolutions. And then our ports, Bill Hitchens and vice chair Al Williams. Those are our subcommittee list. Hopefully they'll be very active, and we'll again sign legislation to those committees. And also in accordance with our rules, we can, if something comes up that's an important issue that falls outside those that we need a special subcommittee, then we can establish that at that time. All right, if there are no questions on that, those will be our subcommittees for the 2000, and we also we'll make a change that has the wrong date at the top. It says 16-17, that is the 17-18 session. All right, that's all the official business. We have an organizational meeting. We'll start hearing legislation next week. We'll assign those to subcommittees. If you're on one of those subcommittees, listen out for your chairman to call meetings as they start preparing to hear legislation. I'll be glad to entertain any questions or if anybody has any comments. If not, I just want to thank the members of this committee. We've got a good committee, and I want to thank the industry that we're involved in, Russell McMurray and others at the Georgia Department of Transportation. Look forward to working with them over this year to have a productive session and continue to see a lot of orange cones on our roadways and get things done. So thank you, and we stand adjourned.